Greetings, fellow Dungeons and Dragons fans. Welcome back. And what can I say? But we have some fun and exciting and positive Dungeons and Dragons news, especially for us fans of the old school stuff. And just before we get into that, of course, I'd like to ask you, if you haven't already, please do click the subscribe button, click the bell icon for notification about all of our live streams and interstitial videos and all the fun stuff we like to do here on the channel. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. So with that said, let's jump right into the news, because it looks like if you're a fan of Dragonlance, you have got something wonderful to look forward to in 2026. And this comes to us from wargamer.com. And of course, I will link to any of the articles and anything I talk about below in the description, so you can check this out. So with that said, let's go ahead and take a look at this article. And this says, new D&D Dragonlance trilogy coming from Weis and Hickman. Again, guys, it's D ampersand D. It's D and D. Anyway. Fans of the sprawling Dungeons & Dragons fantasy saga Dragonlance can expect a new book in 2026, say original authors Weis and Hickman. And this, of course, is from Timothy Linward over there at Wargamer. The long-running Dungeons & Dragons fantasy saga Dragonlance is about to get even bigger, according to co-authors Margaret Weis and Tracy Hickman. The two long-term collaborators have announced a new trilogy, Dragonlance Legacies, with the first book, War Wizard, coming in 2026. According to a statement by Weis on Facebook on August 3rd, their new D&D epic will, quote, tell the story of the legendary wizard Magius and his friendship and adventures with a Solamic knight, Huma. Magius is one of the most powerful D&D wizards, powerful D&D Wizards 5e. I think that's a little auto typo there on their part. In the history of the D&D Dragonlance settings, he was part of the background lore for the original novels before featuring as a companion character to the hero Huma Dragonbane in The Legend of Huma by Richard A. Knack. When asked whether the story in War Wizard will gel with The Legend of Huma, Weis simply states, "This is our story." Weis and Hickman have written 25 Dragonlance D&D books together, not counting editing anthologies and several collected editions. The latest trilogy, Dragonlance Destinies, wraps up with the release of The Dragons of Eternity this month. The Dragonlance Legacies trilogy will be published by Random House Worlds. Hickman and Weis started work on the Dragonlance, way back in 1984, exploring the story in a series of D&D adventure modules and the 3 original Dragonlance Chronicles books. These introduced many fantasy readers to tabletop RPGs and played a big role in shaping the popular identities of certain D&D classes. They even created whole D&D races, though admittedly the Kender have since been rolled into the D&D Halfling 5e species, and I don't like Kender. I'm sorry, I don't. The last Dragonlance supplement on the D&D release schedule was Dragonlance Shadow of the Dragon Queen. Our D&D specialist Molly Russell praised it as, quote, one of the best D&D campaigns in years. Check out our Dragonlance Shadow of the Dragon Queen review, etc., etc. Speaking of reviews by Molly Russell, if you're a fan of the original tabletop role-playing game, check out her D&D 2024 Player's Handbook review. So that is what they have to say there. Now, I find this is quite the turnaround. Of course, a new trilogy is wrapping up, as they say, for this book, and this is a big turnaround, and it's something that's very positive. Now, I have been upfront in my love of Greyhawk. That's kind of on the Wizards of the Coast hit list for being kind of a default setting for 6th edition. And I kind of view that with a lot of trepidation. But to focus back on Dragonlance, Dragonlance was kind of at the center of some controversy. It seems like not too long ago, and we actually talked about it on the show on live streams because there was actually a lawsuit that went on between Hickman and Weis and Wizards of the Coast. And again, this is back. This is from 4 years ago now. So don't run out saying, hey, there's a lawsuit now too. But just to kind of recap, this is from CBR from a few years back. Dragonlance authors file suit against Wizards of the Coast, and then there was a countersuit. We'll just kind of gloss over this real quick. Margaret, Weis, and Tracy Hickman filed a suit against Wizards of the Coast for unlawfully terminating their contract for a trilogy of novels, which, of course, have now been published. The complaint recounts the process the authors went through beginning in 2017, during which time they met with WotC representatives and ultimately signed a publishing deal for a new trilogy of novels that were to be the duo's, quote, capstone to their life's work. Well, we're getting a kickoff of something new here, so, but as we go on, the authors say that the termination of their contract came. They were when the company was suffering poor relations. Over the summer, stories emerged that alleged issues in the Wizards of the Coast hiring practices and other forms of cultural insensitivity. In order to defend themselves from further criticism, the authors allege Wizards and its parent company Hasbro killed the Dragonlance deal. And then, of course, they go on to talk about the history a little bit. Now, this was actually resolved. This whole blow up was resolved. They kissed and made up, and this is probably one of those cases, as an attorney friend of mine, Ty Beard, who's been on the show, of course, several times, said the minute this was filed, there was someone at Hasbro corporate on the phone with Wizards of the Coast legal department saying, make this go away. Stop this right now. So the second this happened, there was probably someone fixing it. So now, of course, we have a new novel coming out, which, again, Margaret and Tracy there say that the previous series was their capstone. So it does leave me wondering, just viewing this from the outside, if that was supposed to be a capstone, I mean, what's the next step up? And you guys tell me, is this a good time to start reading the Dragonlance novels? I only have one Dragonlance books, and it's Dragonlance Adventures hardback. But of course, I want to know what you guys think about this. Are you really looking forward to this? Did you think that the trilogy, or that the series of books really did wrap up with the trilogy that is finishing up now? Are you hungry for more? Are you looking forward to more? Let me know down in the comments below, because I want to hear it. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me, if you've got another angle on it, I would really like to know, because, and again, I know Dragonlance, a lot of people maybe mistakenly think that it was a 3rd edition thing or even a 2nd edition thing. It has its roots firmly in 1st edition AD&D, and as my buddy Timothy Imholt teases me with, that means Kender, our 1st edition AD&D official, to which I say, not in Greyhawk. So, at any rate, again, I'd like to know what you think about this. And I know there's a lot of folks out there, maybe you're not big fans of Wizards of the Coast or Hasbro, something I can completely understand, and I'm not really one either. How will this affect your feelings about them? Will you spend money on the book? Will you wait for it to become a used book to purchase? What exactly? And of course, I think the bigger thing is, will this lead to more Dragonlance on the tabletop? Because as much as I have said, and we have heard about Greyhawk kind of becoming a default setting again for 6th edition, it still only appears to be centric to the Dungeon Master's Guide as, hey, this is an example of a campaign world you can do stuff with. So let me know in the comments down below. And again, if you haven't already, please subscribe. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up and tell me down below what you like about it, and I'll do more of it. I'll see you next time, guys. We have live streams coming up in the not too distant future. More interstitial videos, and I will bring more breaking TTRPG news to you, whether it is for Dragonlance, whether it's for advanced D&D, original D&D, classic, whatever comes up, you know I'll be here with the news. Thank you all very much for being here, and I'll see you next time. Until then, keep your saddles on your dragons' backs and be ready to fly. Peace.